What's going on, everybody? Baron Yam. And as you can see in my other stream, I've got a lot of people that are scheming to take over the warlords and the war chief. So I thought I'd upload a video about scheming. The topics are going to be stealing shit is okay, scheming, plotting, and crime. Crime equals no benefit. So without further ado, stealing shit in this day and age is all about power. You see riders in the street stealing from shops, and the reason why that's not considered stealing is because those people don't have any power. See, power has been removed from those people's hands and legs and the things that they use to commit the crimes, and it has been, taken into the hands of the elites. And as you can see, my little dude's Scoff Thin Bones, he's getting ready to assault one of the war chiefs, who will then I will use to take over the Overlord. And that is going to make it so that this region is very easy to take over and then used to take over other regions. So, but you're gonna have to be able to steal things like every once in a while, and you have to have some sort of grand overarching heuristic on why you have to do it. The only problem is that in this day and age, we don't really understand criminality and how that actually functions because, of a lot of things. And you can see that with the election that the crime is indeed on the rise. Under the Trump administration, there was not nearly as much crime reported as there have been in past election cycles and administrations. But with Trump being out of office, the amount of crime that is occurring is going to go through the roof, particularly because in a democratic society, many people believe constantly and consciously that they are the beneficiaries of criminal activity. And it's sad, but it's true. That's the way that a lot of people view life. And like at your job, for example, a lot of people feel like they shouldn't be there. in America, they are considered transitional billionaires, that type of thing. You hear people throw it around a lot. And the reason for this is just simple. I mean, Hollywood and the TV scape painting, the average working man's life as just mundane and filled with female and just gynocentric. And so, people strive for a lot of different things because of middle class lifestyle has been painted as like just silly and arbitrary. And it has they haven't really gone in. They don't really go into deep depth on like the impact of it. I mean, the most you'll see somebody reference like hardworking things is when they're going to maybe die or some other bullshit like that. It's like Deadliest Catch or MMA. It's always those things that get propped up. But that's a side tangent. Well, kind of not, because you also have true crime, and true crime is very popular too. It can be used to paint a picture. A lot of times you see people who research true crime and they'll paint a narrative that's negative of this situation, or that's positive in one of the people's favor, and that's kind of like another way that people are sneaking or waiting in the wings to change information, just spin it around, uh, and you could tell those people aren't the real original producers of that content. It's somebody else's content that they're tainting with their own opinions and stuff like that. So and that's a good skill to have, being able to discern things like that. But what Jordan Peterson talks about that a lot. People being able to think clearly without getting distracted over trivial things and getting caught on side tangents and things like that. Why do I believe that happens? Well, it's just human nature. It's just human nature. Any structure or anything that you have is just bound to crumble over time. It's like entropy, and discipline is a good thing. And people don't I think people also don't really get what discipline is generally. So yeah, hey, what's up, Newtown on the Wind? What's up, Tico? But the whole thing about plotting, right? The whole thing about plotting and dating is a subject that I'll get into now. Plotting happens a lot in dating, and it gets pretty deep to the point where if you don't take the red pill when it comes to dating, you will find strange ways of coping. I'm not saying they're bad ways of coping, but you'll just not be able to cope properly with the kind of stuff that goes on in the dating world. Now, if you're MGTOW, monk, if you're say you're swearing off women, that's fine. That's totally okay. I'm not against that. But you'll need to know at least some information about the red pill in order to avoid still falling into a trap. Because that's really all that the manosphere is trying to do, is just point out traps. So if we're getting called toxic for pointing out traps, then there's a serious problem with that, and I think Wynn would agree. But the things that you see in the manosphere now, MGTOW Savior, awesome channel. You guys should go check him out. He's very underrated. He never really gets the praise that he's due. He puts out content, and mad shout out to him. He basically painted a very good picture of the situation as it is now, just a few I think a few hours ago or something like that. But he something he said in it was good. Something is, hold on, let me just. Something that he said in it was eye-opening to me because it really highlighted just how much men are just not able to play the same kind of games women are able to play. And the reason when I did some research about it, I actually learned about the study. It's like a psychological study where they look at men and women's behaviors on the playground, and they and not men and women's behaviors on the playground. That would be like a reality TV show or something like uh, "Following the Habits of Men and Women on the Playground" by David Attenborough. But yeah, they studied at Piaget. They studied boys and girls play interactions on the playground, and they figured out, I guess, what game what do boys and girls think about when they think about the words like game and play and tricks and stunts and stunting on my daddy and all that shit. And the research involved just, well, I don't know too much about the methodology, so I'll just try to sum that part up. It was they would like look at the games that they would play, and then they would try to the nature of like the conflict in each game. They would try to say, oh, what is the goal? What are people motivated by? What are the kids motivated by? How do they make sense of their environment when they're in the game space and things of that nature? And so they came to a conclusion after observing what happened based on their hypotheses. And so the boys, when you watch them play like basketball or football or baseball, they get into fights a lot. They get kind of rough, and they start to play hard, and they're competitive. So a lot of things. Like an example of that is in baseball. Sometimes the players will crack a bat over their knee when they don't get a home run or they get struck out. That's an example of like men, how men view like the games. Is they get really passionate about them. They get really deeply involved in them to the point where, and that's also an expression of violence, like men getting their stress out through doing something violent, all while playing like a nice, fun, playful game. So that's interesting. That's interesting stuff. Like, and then how it like usually comes out on the playground is like boys will always get into fights over rules of the game, and then they will find ways to get around the conflict, because it's a game that, like I said, they're passionate about. They like playing. They enjoy kind of like the thrill of the fight, the thrill of the competition, or not the fight. They enjoy just being competitive taking part in a group activity. And it shows like boys desire camaraderie, they desire kind of like commitment and respect for people. And when they look over, the researchers look over at the girls' side of the playground, they look at girls playing games on the blacktop, or playing with the swings or the tire swing or whatever. And what's up, Americus DeVille? What's up, Lord? So it's just doing a casual stream, and I was gonna show the game I was playing, but I just decided to stream it. So there's another video. So if you guys have two devices, you're gonna watch me play the game too. But when they look over at the girls' side of the playground, they notice that the girls' games all involve like trickery, scheming, plotting, and stealing. And it's because and then when you look at like co-ed sports or co-ed like activities now that are usually scheduled during gym time, they play cops and robbers. Because the kids go over, or the kids take turns being the robber and the cops. Because men and women are kind of like order and chaos, kind of like what Jordan Peterson was saying. But if you look at the girl side, it's just hopscotch, double dutch, house. What else? I mean, those are the three. I think those are the three games that at least the Piaget study highlighted. Get these because America's. Have you seen that? I don't know if you have preview or not, but did you see the commercial where it's called Fit Tracker? They track the fit stuff, and then it's showing like fat people doing like quadruple backflips and like cartwheels and stuff. I thought that commercial was hilarious. Yes. um, and it's just sad to watch because they have these games where the rules of the game aren't really set in stone. So it's kind of like a vague or abstract idea. Like, take these ropes, and then we can just spin them around, and then we just like you just jump up and down, just ferociously, and we can like sing a song while we do it. Then that be ain't that won't that be fun? Nobody wins, nobody loses. Or well, I guess they have people who win and lose. Oh, Limbo. Limbo would be another game. Limbo would be another game that's like a co-ed game. But like, yeah, and the furthest that you get when you look at like PE education is like kickball in terms of like a co-ed activity, because this doesn't take a lot of physicality, and it's easy for each person to play by the rules. But the overall thing with when they concluded about the women's side is just that they they don't like to play by the rules, and basically it's like they treat a game, they apply the term game to things like house, like things like living in a house, like living with somebody shouldn't be a game. It should be kind of like something that's serious, that you don't have to that the rules are strict, the rules that you have to follow whether you like it or not. And the problem with the game house is that if one kid on the playground is the leader of house, they could just say that one of the children is the dog, and the other child is the wife, and the other child is uh, the son or the kid. And the problem with this is that a lot of people will say, "Oh, it's good. That's good because you're teaching them how to use rules, how to at a young age. You're teaching them how to uh, take turns with like certain responsibilities, or not responsibility, not really responsibilities, but like, yeah, responsibilities or obligations. Or it's like if she asks the husband to do something on the playground and he has to do it, even though he looks over and he sees that a bunch of kids are playing football in the courtyard. He's got to sit on that hot black top and like with the easy bake, and he's got to make that food for her because he is playing the game of house. And in the game of house, house always wins. And he can't opt out of this role, because if he says, I don't want to do that, I there's no way for me to play this game where I don't have to do what you tell me to do. Then that girl's gonna there's no game anymore. The house is destroyed. She has the power to destroy the house at any moment. And it's why, like, when I hear people talking about DS dynamic, that I really just don't believe in it. DS dynamic is this. It's not it's not a win situation for a man. It's actually more of just like a limbo state for a man, because if you look at what kids would do in that situation, it will reveal a lot of information. So just think about that. If you believe in DS dynamics, there's no real like winning when it comes to female games and stuff, uh, and that's kind of like what I guess what I think of whenever I look at like these stories and stuff. I like to follow very closely, because there really is nobody that benefits um, when a real when a real crime happens. You could say, oh, the criminal benefits from things, but in reality, like unless it's most often the times like the victim, whoever's the victim of it, the people that they're related to will will there will be people who will attempt to compensate for what happened to that person, and you'll see this a lot with people who are like the extended family of somebody who passes, or you'll see it whenever someone is attacked, like they will receive some sort of treatment, or they receive some sort of recompense for the kind of the suffering they had to go through. And like that's where I think of, like when I think of relationships nowadays, and the ways that people get screwed over. It blows my mind the same way that it does when I watch, like, say, like true crime, for example, because like why these people do this, it used to never make sense to me, because I was why would you put why would you go through all that strife in a relationship just to have it explode apart and not be good and not turn out well for you? Like, why didn't you just do this? Why didn't you just do that? Why didn't you do that? I used to think about this all the time. And then when I finally started doing the research, I started piecing it together and sort of thinking in my head, like, like men aren't geared to think this way. It's not going to make sense to us, because it's just a different game that women play now that I took the red pill. I realize that. And it's funny because like women think about relationships on a whole completely different plane of value and of like information and stuff like that. Like they think in it in a they have to think in a very wide array of categories when they're like looking at somebody, or when they're looking for a mate, or they're looking to date someone. Whereas guys can be a bit more straightforward with things, because that's just how we are. That's how we're geared. We want to like fix and solve problems, and that's kind of like one of the how will they want somebody that complements us, or that we can complement. And that's because we like want to create unity. We want to create harmony. But then if you look at the female games example, like PFJ, it's like women do not desire harmony. They desire like chaos. And then they like to generate responsibility out of that chaos. Like imagine it like on the playground. Okay, and I just gotta slow down again. On the playground is where I spend most of my days, chilling and relaxing and everything. So, like on the playground, they would never pick people that they would resort to picking complete strangers to play a game of deep levels of responsibility and no freedom, no rights, and just zero agency of by anybody other than the the main character or the person who is sort of orchestrating the game. And it's obvious that that's not something that guys want to do. Guys want to play the game because of the freedom and the depth and the complexity of the game itself. They want to immerse themselves in the game, whereas women are like chaotic. They want to create a game and then they want to destroy that game if people are not willing to take responsibility. And that's sort of the fucked up thing about this society. Um, but my thoughts on it, to be honest, is like the only people that really benefit, and this is where I believe it's the red pill or maybe the black pill comes in, but the reality of the day is that with recesses like being deleted for the most part, and that time for boys to kind of take out their energy and their frustrations in a game that allows for a little bit more freedom, you can see how you can see where everything is starting to move, because girls can still play all their games and stuff, and men are not really given that freedom to express themselves. And it's definitely it'll turn into either like cuckery or some sympatry or something, and it's bound to happen. And you have to protect yourself from this and protect your kids from this too. If you're going to be a parent in the red pill world, there's got to be something that you can even hopefully help occupy your kid. That's why I consider AP courses and like extracurricular activities, or like could do college in the school if they have to go to public school or something like that. But with the deletion of like recess and a place to express themselves, like there's no way to really look at life as a man with any sort of positive qualities, because in that life you really just have no choices. You just have always these responsibilities. And I really think that the only beneficiary of the female games is the school board, the administrators, and the teachers. Because how can it benefit the people who are actually playing it to be wasting their time on this manipulation but practicing for later in life? There doesn't seem to be a viable benefit to doing this. And so when you look at cases in the future, you need to have a red pill knowledge in mind, because otherwise the truth, the black pill truth about whatever it is you're observing will just destroy your whole world. It will destroy everything, because nothing will make sense, and you won't be able to select the right information to view on the next interaction, or won't be able to watch things without getting triggered. But with that, I'm going to take my leave here, gentlemen. Do graciously. I kind of have some things I got to do, but it was nice to talk to you all. And Shinobi One, who's entered the stream late as hell, but you still, no, maybe he was there the whole time. Shinobi One is always there, watching. He took our old videos. He's watching all your videos. And what America says, you gotta shout out Americus DeVille. And sorry, now I gotta rewind. Now I'm just gonna do the more of the stream now. Okay. Since Tico wants to hate. And which Which channel is that, Tico? Is that your real channel, or is that your original channel, or is that a new channel? That's my question to Tico. And CSI, you gotta have you gotta have those CSI eyes when you're doing Red Americus. You gotta have those crime scene investigations. Well, streamer. Oh, I'm trying to do things both at the same time. Stay MGTOW. Don't get used. Okay, I would say MGTOW Savior is equally rated. He is normally rated. All right, I know what I'm going to balance this out. Think about putting the ball in the hoop. Yeah, that's pretty much summed it up right there. I'd have to go on all that time. I could have just summed it up by putting the ball in the hole. So I've been trying to focus on myself, man. It's been really hard because not hard. It's been just a lot of work. I just had a lot to do because with my new job and with everything, it's just been real nice. So thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the stream. But yeah, getting the that might be something else too. Is that I guess the games and stuff. I guess they might be good for painting society or pointing society in a certain direction. That's why they call it social engineering, because it's like painting building dams and uh, constructing bridges and stuff. That's it. I'm obviously it's not at all a good thing, but if you want to make sense of what's happening, like think about it as you're like a whitewater rafter, and you got to sort of navigate this like wild force of nature. Um, you just have to you have to like maintain some integrity. You gotta watch Quasi-Mandius, and you have to do. Sorry, let me just try not to keep fat girls on the comment thing for too long. There we go. Does playing House of Cards make me a sandwich? Yeah, that's what I want to know. Lord Souls 91. We live in cancel culture. It says people like celebrities or something, but this applies to everyone. Show discontent, get canceled out. Refuse to abide by the games, canceled out. Yeah. There's two decisions to make. Do it or don't do it, and the result is the same. Yeah, right. Whereas, like, if you look at the field, and that's what like maintain frame, be disciplined, and everything. It's like you got to be disciplined in what make one or two decisions at any given point. Like there's no way that you can maintain frame. In fact, that's how somebody has to maintain frame in order to get you to do what they want you to do. And so people are so easily manipulated. People just bend over because they were just trying to maintain frame, and they don't want to break out of the slave role. They'd rather just maintain the frame of the slave than rise into like some sort of like something that involves a little bit more ego, but you're still transferring your masculinity onto something that's like productive. Yeah, they can cancel these nuts. Um, Americus. Like, if the female soccer team wants to be sponsored by Puma, then that's nice because they can poo my nuts in their face. And and that's really how it. That's really what up, Lord Sos. What's up? That's really how I feel about the games that women play because there's there's nothing that you could tell me that'll have me believing that they women wouldn't even want to play the same game as us because you could tell when they get into like these higher positions they get upset because they're like they can't get the guy in the highest position, and you got to realize it's because they want a guy like D Trizzy, Donald Trump. That's who they really want. That's who they're really working for, because he's got all them businesses, all that invested in the economy, and they're working the same job that you are. They work in the same exact job that you are, and they can't figure out why they don't want to sleep with you. They can't figure out why. If you're a good guy, they don't want to be with you. They want something more zestier. They want like a little bit more lemon zest or a little bit more lime zest. And yeah, and because you don't lead by example in this game. You lead based on your rank and based on your level of clout that you got in this game that we play. That could make it makes a lot of people angry. That's why when you see MGTOW stuff, you're just like, he's so negative, bro. He's so hurt. He's not able to really cope with life, and he's just hurt. It's because we're all hurting. We're all hurting under the panopticon of fucking social engineering and just being a cog in the wheel. That's if you don't want to be a cog in the wheel, that's great. But don't still be a fucking cog. Just break down already and just fucking get replaced by the repairman, by the fixers. And usually you can spot them. They're really easy to spot. They're usually in a white van, dark tinted windows, and there's a huge red pill on the side of the van. Please direct all inquiries. I failed the mission. Please direct all inquiries regarding breaking the social programming to Yam, Tico, Wind, and Associates. Then damn, I'm about to die. I'm about to die. Hold up. Let me pause this. And okay, there we go. I got more. So it's like divorce. So Americus is right. He said divorce industry is $1 billion industry. Divorce rates are down because no one's getting married. Ooh, spicy. Did I see the charts at Better Bachelor? No. Is it in his community page? YouTube is changing? No. Sometimes they have no. I don't know. Just tell me the stats. Um, God gives me answers. Did he say that again? Is that the second time? And no men are checking out. But that is like important because the same thing with these cases, like regardless of who you think is leading right now in the vote, if there's a lawsuit, it's they're gonna pick lawyers who have flawless records, who have never lost a case. And you got to think about the life of a person that never loses in a legal dispute. They are some of the most, like a person, they're like a detective almost. They're like a press secretary or a press journalist, a very 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 dedicated one, because they have to have like so much determination to and be so competitive. And then you look at like somebody who's, who might be the future leader of this country, and you say like everybody respects that person for being like feminine, when they don't have to be feminine to do their job. They have to be very masculine to do their job. And another thing about these people who never lose is that they demand, adequate recompense for their services. So they have to get a lot of money for what they're willing to do, because it involves just so much shit that you would never even, that would make the crime seem uh like, like freaking what is it, human, not customer service. It'd be like doing public charity work. And that's because everything involving crime nowadays is just all this taboo. It's like people just feel like so sensitive to it, and they're like, "Oh, I'm the victim of a crime," and then they think, "What's the best way for me to benefit from being the victim of crime?" It's like, okay, if a crime happens to you, it's going to be shit for a really long time, because that should be the severity of what we consider a crime. Like, there's no immediate benefit from uh, from killing somebody for a murderer, other than, if they really just wanted that person dead, that person's not alive anymore. That's the only benefit. But the it's like the victim, the family of the victim, it's like they get billions of dollars, and then they can spend that on like lawyers who are just damn good at their job to like basically make sure this person pays. And I'm not condoning people to go out and commit crimes. I'm just remarking on something that happens a lot with things involving this kind of subject matter, like violence, usury, just people doing stupid shit. It's like people make a lot of money off people doing stupid shit. Oh, Shiza. Oh, Shiza. I got saved and then I died. Wait, Garden. Sorry, you're lost. No, lost. We're in the chat. It runs of waste, fraud, and abuse. Yeah, yeah. It smells. It smells. 10 years ago, it's picked with people getting wedding pictures. It's been pretty quiet, empty the last 5 years until COVID hit. Then they closed. Telling couples how to wear plastic over their arms. Kiss each other with the mask on. So yeah, there you go. Like they're making the problem worse. They say, okay, guys who just focus on one girl try to please that girl. That guy is dumb. But how to get hot chicks? You have to wear gloves, a mask, and you have to wear hazmat suit over your Johnson in order to have sex with them. It's like, what do you want a guy to do? And it's like, what do you think that he is? Because a real guy, they don't want to do that shit. They don't want to get all fucking fancy and do a bunch of, gymnastics wearing a fucking mask and shit. They don't want to do the mating dance. If we were, we would have evolved to be birds, because that's what birds do. They always have to be like looking fake. and then they do the little bird dance just to get some bird punani. All right, Ashinobi won. $22. Oh, okay, now I get what you're saying. 22. But like I've always said this, and it's funny that I have to keep saying it for people because people don't like to listen to it. But just because you decide to have sex with someone doesn't mean that you're going to be the victim of a crime. It's all in the mind of the individual who's in control. You know what happens, and so if you as a man decide, I want to be in control of my life. I don't want to get myself into situations that other people are going to perceive as criminal, whether they be beneficial to me or not. And you that just involves me all that people say it's hard to do. MGTOW's hard. It's hard for me to do MGTOW. This person MGTOW's better than me, and he's not a real MGTOW. It's like, first off, focus on yourself, man. Don't worry about what anybody else has got going on with their life, their fucking whatever they got, their family or something they got going on. Unless they're trying to lie and be deceitful and play these games and do the double dutch thing where it's like, oh, I don't like you, you can't play double dutch with us. Like, just mind your own business if you quite possibly can. Everybody out there, everybody, doesn't matter who it is, if that race or your gender doesn't line up. I don't really care. I don't really give a fuck. I don't really give a fuck what you think. Just do it. Just do it the best and do it the best to you, to your ability. That's really all that it needs to be said about it. Because if you want to do you lazily, then this isn't the place. This isn't the place to be hanging around chatting with folks, because we try to do real work and stuff over here. So just, if you're gonna be fake, you're gonna be a hater, just get out, just go do something that you rather do, and mind your own damn business. Because it's that winning. It's winning at the end of the day over here. That's basically all I gotta say. It's just winning at the end of the day. And in this society, we have a lot of people who they will continue the fucking squabble even after the shit is already done and finished, because they're just unsatisfied with the outcome. And when I said earlier, crime's going to be on the rise, crime's definitely going to be on the rise, because these cops, that's what they like. That's what they value. And I'm not saying all cops are bad. I'm just saying that's what the prison industrial complex values. Ooh, there's some black pill stuff to kind of to leak into this, because I don't want people saying, oh, he thinks cops are bad. He thinks the cops are racist. Okay, no, some cops, the fact that they're not racist makes it so that they don't get in there and solve the crime when it's happening. They don't, because they say they're unbiased or whatever. They can't look at a situation and recognize that there's some danger involved pre or post call. They don't even understand their environment. They would rather listen to freaking Saturday Night Live or NBC or the NFL or the acronym chant, the acronym program, turn on and stop thinking. Entertainment industry complex. They just get bounced around from media source to media source, and they don't actually know what to believe in the first place. So there's people like this who are all over our society, and it's why we can't. It's why the individuals, folks running doing the walk and talk and MGTOW shit. It's why they can't trust people, because we understand that, or like, not we, but it's like human beings have such a short attention span as it is. that they're worried that you're just here because it's just a fad. Oh, it's just a fad. It's just, this, it'll pass, it'll come and go, it'll pass. Just a phase. It's just something that you are doing right now. You don't really mean that. You don't know that. This kind of stuff. It's just like, it's sad. It's sad. It really is sad. And anybody else? No. But I think I've been going long enough. Shout out to the people who are still here, Americus, Los, or Lord Sos. I almost said Los. But shout out to everybody who's here. Thank you. You guys are my supporters. I appreciate you guys all being out here. But just, if if people always say protect yourself, and shit out here. But don't be so worried about what you got going on. I mean, it's things are gonna be hard, right? You don't need to focus on your situation that much. I mean, live life to its fullest. Make the most of what you got, and just take action in life. Take initiative. Be forward thinking. Be life affirming. No reason you need to get sad in this bitch. If you even if you got something that's refurbished and tarnished and been degraded and been trashed on, that's still what up? Oh yeah, thanks, Sos, bro. You're the best, bro. Like, in a society, we've been told that things that look distinguished are marked by history, which is filled with terrible, atrocious things that have happened. And if you got any blemishes or shit, something that makes somebody try to put that shit on you, look them dead in the eyes and figure that shit out, man. I realize why I posted this, because the other day somebody stole some shit right in front of me, where I work, and I didn't have the ability to stop that person. Why I think it happened the way it happened, and why I know why I'm coping with the reality of the situation is that part of me believes that it's something that has to do with my social awareness. I can't quite get into like 100% details of it without spoiling it, without giving the haters what the fuel, what they really desperately crave. But point blank period, this person was giving me this runaround in conversation, like one, wasting my time when I wanted to do a job, and the second was just overall just being really emotional. And like I could tell that this person was not not dumb. They weren't a dumb person. They had a lot of ill intent in what they did. But the fact that they were so charming, that you kind of then the affect of that person, it leads more people to come asking you about them, because they have such controversy around their actions. And to be honest, the guy stole some shit straight right in front of me, and the fact that I had a decent conversation with him, makes me think just more clearly about this world and about everything in it. So, but with that, I'm gonna leave you guys real quick, short outro. Stay focused, stay on your grind, especially if you're on the lower levels. My brothers really going through it, and don't forget to take that exit. So this is Baron motherfucking Yam, aka holler at your girl, get her to bake me the bread, and then make a sandwich out of it. Y'all be blessed. Stay up, Stay MGTOW, y'all. Don't miss that exit. I'm out. Peace.